Jesus. So yamama jo emama kwaba head back home base TV. Yeho nyankopon enhira mo se kwesi da nwumre bia mo gibre na mo hwe dwumadie ye. Program ni din de adiye emre. Hanom ne yeka adiye nsem a nyankopon atro no tro konkrom ye biebie so se de be ya wo ne me bete ase ne hu ba bia ya duru e wo wiase abakosemu na se wo bo bra ohunkwaya be fa so aba bra afa. Program ye program amudodo am adi akire no ye nka me feel se me green say susu say me so for say me yere say yen ka bi e program yi so na mum da say the Lord say na nyame asem say eno na nkwa wo mu eno na tumi e wo mu tinenso yaba aye ba abeto aso obekam ho na de aseda kese ama adofo a wo mu na sebe mpraduasa wo mu keka wo mu nsase eyi si kan kakran wo mu ato afamframam de amaye say monye na momfanto airtime na asem kese yeso akatache no mumie bie so se de be ya wiase nipa nyina be hunu ye dwane e de age ye kra nkwa nti saafo no nokuri ni ye bompa ya yinya mumu ye ho nyankopon enhira mpapapa so so ani je ho so obebo ase de be ya betimi abo asempa no dawura obetimi asend mobile money e de be support programming number obetimi asend de afa so no ye 055 o hwe screen ani abonse eguso 055 35 74 933. That's 0205535749333. O send dia edi beba na Joseph Anane etom kukuro na che won so akanya mansem ano no na aboa ma bibia timi akoso kama eho nyankopon hira mo mo so mo hwe wo RTV ye ma mo adwo e ma mu nyina tenase ma mo akwa aba eno achi no so no obetimi akọ Facebook na wako home base TV obo se feed no e wo ho link no ho na wa like no wa share because nye di nyina na wo TV ho mprebre na ba bia wo nua bi obi a no no so apeke signal no na ono so atimi ahwe bi eno achi no wo betimi send WhatsApp message e dia be bisa question bi a wo a wo pese obisa concerning this program no na ya jebre ayi ano kama e dia ma we nyame nko na mo ha mimi din asuafo de hye ana from evangelist Kofika career meje so na me ne the researcher of our time evangelist Joseph Anane Evangelist Amadwuma Kwaba.
Yeah.
Na wotwetwa mu no em se mu bi frey en se mo lines no ana se mu TV na twitwitwi kakra e wo mu nti ade a program na se de na nka mo pe no ati mu de no mo anya ne sa mo mfa nche mfidie na de dwuma na fidie bia so ni ho 100% efficient enti na no ye nkonya mo yeni na munyaja mo na mo bodwumadie no ho ka ye nkonya mo enti na ne ye besa ba reverse kakra ansana ya sign akoye anim na se mo kaya na wotwetwa mu de ne ye ka ho asem eno a ne nanso ye beka na part 3 the Troublers of Isreal na nye nipa bi a wo mo ha Israel wo Palestine ho asem ne ye ka na emum no ya fasa topic ne di kirem se enemre so ye wonipa bi wo ha omo adane osi akwan asofo wo mbi asempakafo wo mbi asompanimfo bi no wo mbi a omo adane osi akwan ama nyamemba se omo pese omo decide se omo di nyamemra be yadwuma omo twetwe omo nantini na omo bo omo ason o enya no correct omo kan mu ntie wo ye troubler of Israel part 3 enene ye ba abetwa so evangelist ye mo sa akwa baby
yeah
the troublers of Israel part 3
great
and your videos 20 videos 10 that's right
yes asidanka yehoadin onyankopon amayen adom ohu ye mobo yasayaba
that's right
said de bia yetaya kanu anya yenko na ye wo ha ye kasa ye miunu de ene production team no mo kan ho so no edom na e kasa no aye wo mo a eboa ma ye twa dwumade yika
that's right
ye nyina na ebo mu a ye tun asampa yi awewi mu ma afoforo etie na menye tuma tunkubi we de afimi a me ho me personal appeal
okay
efrisa yare yi baye no amanye mo be ni so asesa kane no na ebinum to sa frame ejina bonten simpie so kanya mesem e de tuma ma to be bebo so na bebo so yare intine enkobi
that's right
kasa bia ba mo kan social distance intino amasa program nyina no anu abrase na no nkire se nyamesem no yenya aka
debi
enu an ye kan entika we de kase kanu ankaka ne ye de kwa bonten ko gina no omfanfa he ya
mount pulpit kese montumra yan fanfam from him
sa pepe
o kwantuma ba bia bere
sanese e to de tuma na be de ma ye nyina se mo bia nya ne ntem se ahaba se e bi aha de be fa na e be ha wo so a mo pa TV station ni bi na nya ne ntem se ye ni bre good menchia opani bi frame o se woti o hwe ye wo dua so
okay
wo donko no fi side
okay
ya o se wo di 70 years
wow
na ebre be so a ono kasa fa phone efrefre sa manponhwe na oboni is 70 years na o kire se de o di program ya chim che se ehu dwiri mi awsukura gu mi
even ni pe nyina na kwasore se wo kwasore no wu ayesie no bi kwasore se wo mpenkwanje sa fo so de ne wo mo kase
o se edi nim na ya so jaman ya ka so jaman o dua
ti be motos ni se ro kwacha so jaman mai
yeah na abranche ba ko ye fe no Lawrence Amoa
okay
on the year Sandra omo East Legon also mo fa program ni agro kra me sra mo se omo kwasora emo ho modern se de omo ye ne da na ko nshra mo me am saba ko pe Abigail Gazy enumere o hwe ye wodawenya on ne kunu Emmanuel Gazy me chia mo na fa bi din chia ama me wife Mary and I want so wife na fa me chia ti me be nyina ya me nshra mo bebre the Troublers of Israel one more Israel
that's right
so they were kind of last week no ebi mo say omo network etwasi kakra ati beto aso but ade ba ko a mama honden na hye me nkura ne say ebinum freti to Pentecost for ebinum Church of Christ for ebinum say na humida say na ya maka so mo mi so mo asofo na nkasa ko asafo ma no munim de ekoso we chire ho
that's right
timo de moti ya no mafafo
ye kama na sema yinkobu sei no
yes me pa cho mo mi sa mo asofo no first ansa mo ma bi sa me say omo binum de munim de ye kan say no kore
okay
entino mamo ha mo sa mo fra me ameka say me dem kam ye last mo ti asam ne firi me ho a mo go bi sa mo asofo no ansa na mo ba me ho
okay
fi say nya wadwen say obetimi aka bibie akire de ye kan say differently fi say no kra de ye ka akire wo no ebia na wadwen nuri so betimi asomo sa because ye da twe wo preko pe de abotre ne bompa ye nyame na be mo achi ase Yesu dim amen good ye sha ase ye quotation ye ni ho agro ye ahemfo ma di kan 1 Kings chapter 18 verse 17 and 18 me gidi say enche bia be pie wo screen so 1 Kings chapter 18 17 18 na ne nyina ne sai Elijah eni Ahab ena hie na Ahab hu Elijah no obisa ne say wo na wo ha Israel ana se da bi nyamea se wo ene waja fie mo agya Nyankopon emra nsem ho na makodi ananafo nyame achi sa na Onyankopon mra nsem mo agya no ho no Nyankopon de hu so ebae
okay
ene se oto osuru mu
insu
anto impie miensa nifa na sa de no Nyankopon ye na waka to wadada mo se breso se base ɔmo tie n'asɛm edi ne mmara asɛm so ɔbɛhyira wɔn ama nsuo ne brɛ so ɛne ne brɛ mu so ɔmo ntie deɛ a ɛde ɔbɛto ɔsoro mu nti ɛbaa sɛ ɔhen AHAB brɛ so ɔmo tie Nyankopɔn mmara asɛm so ayɛ ne sa Nyankopɔn to ɔsoro mu ɛnɛ no saa deɛ no ebi esi biem ɛkɔ so na ekristofoɔ binum asɔfoɔ binum asase so nyansafoɔ binum akeka yɛ ho bom na desua bɛkyɛ sɛ akunu bɛyɛ mmiɛnsa na sɛ nan akua de kan nie me from the professed Christian community a kristofoɔ anaasɛ yes wɔn mo adi ɔmo ano fafa ɛka so mo yɛ kristofoɔ wɔn mo nyinaa no yɛ wɔ akua bi a ɛpɛgya wɔn mu a wɔn boa ma yɛfo abɔne so ɛwɔ yɛ asase so last year can document bi na yɛbɛhyɛ ase akan na the first one the ACT Alliance ACT ni Action by Churches Together mass reproduction on my your screen so quickly na wontimi nka ni nyina de ye brenti but wobɛkɔ ba bi ama number no kwa bɛ 1 2 3 okay na fa yɛn hwɛ de patch production betimi the slide the all kind obetimi at screen because ebinom request say on person o kind my please you can do so
ACT Alliance 154
good
154 religious leaders from all the world regions call for a zero carbon, climate resilient and equitable future.
Very good.
That's 20th October 2015. Today, a statement signed by 154 religious leaders from different faith groups has been handed over to the Executive Director of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Christiana Figueres. That's right. And a third paragraph now. While negotiators representing 194 countries gather in Bonn this week to work on a draft text for December climate conference in Paris, religious leaders are issuing this call for an ambitious climate agreement. Remind all governments to commit to emission cuts and climate risk reduction. And pledge important contributions from their own faith communities, including divestment from fossil energy.
Thank you very much. We ACT Alliance omone Christopher kabonko na sorry en kabonko sunkubi womo aka ho bomu
reverends and bishops nyina din wa
atrokrata ade akoma UN se ye omo soso ede omano etum bi na mo krata de adanse ni we saa e Christopher no kuo no omo wie ye no e na UN ankasa e ba bonten ede do be kan no ede tu da se ampa ye saka de di kan ni de ye nsori no a de omo kan e na UN Christiana Figueres na e boni din no ono e na oji krata na eno nso no e ho picture e be pie screen no so se ya in a moment na wo be kan e ho so we from United Nations.
External statement of 20th October 2015. Religious leaders call for effective Paris Agreement. A statement signed by 154 religious leaders from different faith groups calling for climate action has been handed over to the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Christiana Figueres.
That's
right.
And in a way, Christopher Ku.
Almost pictures Bibia.
Also, Mokuta book be a modern mamma menu. Sabu Nebekan was some NGBia. Where a queer decaya, I want Jumedi last year boy. They sound for the next group. And also, if the United Nations are now a no yet Islamic community. Omuno Mokasei. And also, no, Obet
External statement, 18th August 2015, Islamic Declaration on Climate Change.
Very well.
Islamic leaders have called on the world's 1.6 billion Muslims to play an active role in the combating climate change and have urged governments to conclude an effective universal climate change agreement in Paris at the end of the year.
Very good. Faith
leaders, senior international development policy makers, academics, and other experts made the call in an Islamic Declaration on Climate, adopted at an international Islamic climate change symposium in Istanbul, in Turkey. Okay.
So
The sign. Okay.
yeah, people they call the leaders called on the government's meeting in Paris, blah 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 blah. My number for baby.
Okay.
And you know, where you the encremofo airday, and also the Omakwajatum.
Okay.
So now, sa a cruy. A encremofo, we are seeing and penning for a dada, the dada no. Oh, the uncle so no. Cremonimate me after the Sias and Yanukre. If it's a one tea, Debbie, Onim Debbie, yes. Mimblemuno. Yet the crack and the Yajuma.
Committing a CBC cost for a young fro.
Set your hair, young fro. And two friends here said Yanukra, Mimblemu. Crataya put if United Nations.
That's right.
And Jansanam puts over Frehakas as a Yanukran and cap
check your United Nations website. Say Niwa.
So
Islamic Declaration on Climate Change.
Yes.
Simple.
That's all. Besides that, another network from the Climate Action Network. Almost the Abba. Now, almost can be a no MPAU and no Ankobemo, hen a bepe say, Yebema, for especially paragraph 3, a baby, paragraph, but okay. Yes.
Climate Action Network International. Islamic Climate Declaration call for fossil fuel phase out. Submitted by unanimous on August 18, 2015.
Yes.
Omode Konabo Nunuma Pahonsima Edumi Nuanopa. Adopted by the 60 participants at the International Islamic Climate Change Symposium, Istanbul, 17-18 August. The declaration urges government to deliver a strong new international climate agreement in Paris this December that signals the end of the road for polluting fossil fuels by creating architecture that will give us a chance of limiting global warming above pre-industrial level to 2 or preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius.
Thank you. It was drafted by a large, diverse team of international.
Okay, the declaration presents the moral case based on Islamic teachings for Muslims and people of all faiths worldwide to take urgent climate action. It was drafted by a large, diverse team of international Islamic scholars from around the world, following a lengthy consultation period prior to the symposium. It has already been endorsed by more than 60 participants and organizations, including the Grand Muftis of Uganda and Lebanon. The declaration is in harmony with the papal encyclical and has won the support of the Pontifical Council on Justice and Peace of the Holy See.
Thank you. And you know, Cremoforno and some of the two Gano. Almost any the papers they buy, and as a Holy See they buy. And no a copy, a mofuaso.
Okay.
But your document now or refer say papal encyclical and they buy.
That's right.
Yet had the buy. Now, a one cobantini as a baby.
That's right.
Now, science at the key. And no, na as the was for Binu, Yomina. And for how no, and go if you moon some. So on the kind.
Voluminous. If you
are a lazy reader, you can't do this work.
Okay.
Yeah. When you'll be a one name, I can come one, and do my you won't mean yet.
That's right.
And as only branch of marking Kaya, do my won't mean yet. This will be a quayaba, susu. So Becca said to you, yes. In any case, the Amoya Como Sabas Kumukuram, Yamponi, a quality for Portugal, Mr. Yasana Papanacano. We said it here, I can have.
That's right.
What I say. Now, what's your document where? Eluna is a Islamic witness say they are in support with.
That's right.
Fine. Mepese Obianco for document now Obekai where they are lengthy reading and then no dear bay near dancing tea. Osha Laudato Si no Obekai a paragraph 15 1.5. Now Yamaki Maki wa Obesha say free, maybe actual one.
Okay.
Now pay media to screen so. No yet. Baby a basket so I bear LS15, LS near Laudato Si.
Okay.
Paragraph 15. Sana book near kind and that one.
Okay.
Yes.
It is my hope that this encyclical letter, which is now added to the body of the church's social teaching, can help us to acknowledge the appeal, immensity, and urgency of the challenge we face.
Very good. Say, what's science cyclical? No, ye dear can asafo no nkyerɛkyerɛ ho.
That's right.
Enti no abɛka Bible kyerɛkyerɛ ho.
Wow.
Saa no pɛ so ɔkyerɛ yɛ.
Okay.
Afei, ɔka saa no ɔkyerɛ kwan a ɔbɛfa so a wɔde saa ahoma yi ɛbɛboa wiase. Ma yɛnya ahotɔ deɛ nkremofo no ka no. Ɔmo ka sɛ ɔmo foa bɔbɔdeɛ no so no. Yes. Nsɛm a Pope Francis ka yɛ nkremofo no foa so no. Meyi mu kakra bi.
Okay.
Right. Now, to us,
I will begin by briefly reviewing several aspects of the present ecological crisis with the aim of drawing on the results of the best scientific research available today, letting them touch us deeply and provide a concrete foundation for the ethical and spiritual itinerary
that flows. I would say may interest.
Okay.
Well, may interest or idea baby or can say or better the best scientific research available today. That's right. Brofo na ye biemu ebe dem hama. Na me cause so mabiemu.
Okay.
After to asubra I will then
consider some principles drawn from the Judeo-Christian tradition.
Very good.
Which can render our commitment to the environment more coherent.
And first, also obefa for science, or cofer free Judeo-Christian tradition. As a obefa free abodi nyasape fuum, your mwaka. No about Judah for some Christo sumu, obefa bisu free. I am you. So I will then attempt to get to the root of the present situation. Yes.
So as to consider not only its symptoms, but also its deepest causes.
One says, and you know, or free body and a for her. No, a free did a force to some more. And not was or just say, or bedosco. Nothing what the ammonia no abrain. I feel to us in light of this reflection,
Okay, in light of this reflection, I will advance some broader proposal for dialogue and action which will involve each of us as individuals and also affect international policy.
Very good. I feel finally
convinced as I am that change is impossible without motivation and a process of education. I will offer some inspired guidelines for human development to be found in the treasure of Christian spiritual experience.
Thank you very much. And you know, way Pope Francis, wakatre and say, dear we aseno, or no nano do de ban say, or call a body and sape fumo, scientists or wakoji a quancherefrio. No about Christosumo abad ye Judah for sumo, no be far more quanchere, not for a couple more. What the brave we are saying now, we are to see a becaye uncle, or see the Odebano, a becaye uncle, never affecting international policy. Just say, a mind be a maybe of a shabian or the problem. When you know, professor Catcher, Cremo for Aquafuaso, right? Or me, so I can say Judeo-Christian tradition. Sa Judeo-Christian tradition, and no call.
And what I be here motivation be was very motivated once the bell be
sanity.
Catch was here, okay, a source of motivation.
And it's part of it.
Okay.
I feel call 71. A year baby called the net baby. I made a yellow paper be a 7 baby. I know your paragraph 71. Baby, or can say we see this, for example, in the law.
Okay. Or say we see this, for example, in the law of the Sabbath. On the 7th day, God rested from all his work.
Yes.
He commanded Israel to set aside each 7th day as a day of rest, as recorded in Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3.
Very good.
And Exodus chapter 16, verse 23 to 20.
And you know, say, or no, or can't say, or confront Judah for Suma, but to Sumun. And now all catch and say, Onyanko pon shares that for no man who made there and okay, they're tossing so. Or no, one of my quotation in the good screen so. Quotation man, yet, Memenda, I am Yanko Pomeda.
That's right.
Also, I go to Exodus 2010. Or say, a nation and radio in the year the Juan and Yanara. And now, day, who made a missing,
who made that tossing so.
And none of provincial couture. And to no one catcher, we as I say, Yanko pon the Memenda Emma, to the foreigner say, young homie. Right? to us or similarly every 7 years.
Every 7 years, a sabbatical year was set aside for Israel, a complete rest for the land. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 1 to 4.
More.
When sowing was forbidden and one reaped only what was necessary to live on and to feed one's household.
Very good.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 4 to 6. Finally, after 7 weeks of years, which is to say 49 years.
Paragraph 237 and we 237 before bedroom name some kind. On Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist has special importance. Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, and this will be amount. And say Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationships, and or to us say with God, with ourselves, and with others, and with the world. The what can you maybe so can
that's draw BB afri. You da for and share no mudiso and what be called to Mohammedan.
Any
and we and what the question that some about the witchery, sir. Not just so me. Memenda, yes, Meda, Medema, yeah, Christopher, yeah, okay,
so just and okay, I will pay
37, okay,
very good, yes.
On Sunday, on Sunday, our participation in the Eucharist,
yes,
has special importance. Sunday, like Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God,
sure,
with ourselves, with others, with the world. Sunday is the day of the resurrection, the first day of the new creation, whose first fruits are the Lord's risen humanity, the pledge of the final transfiguration of all created reality.
Very good.
It's all.
A favorite, the law of the weekly rest forbade work on the Sabbath, on the 7th day. Nina no say or ko tu homedano ena or the chiremo say ye no ye de kwasiada on Sunday. So document na Pope Francis or they call United Nations. E mo na ye we num efri. Or no kasa catch say asem wo de ba no or GB efri abodi nyasape for scientists. And na oji be fi Judah sum no dia practice sum no dia mawiase. So in term for say agiato, no problem about that. After the third group, and only another document that ha. Sa group we and na ye say osum wo wiase nyina secret sum Buddha, Krishna, Kremo, onso kan bom, on do manum asam atudwa. Date ni bibia na wo so no. Baby I marking one.
Okay. External statement, April 19, 2016. Religious group urge governments to rapidly implement Paris Agreement.
Very good.
Religious leaders from around the world have issued a strong call to climate action a few days before the signing of the Paris Climate Change Agreement on 22nd April in New York.
Okay. Sad date 22nd April. Joe Biden akasa.
Okay.
We are from next week.
Okay.
But me can we answer. Na yes we can say me come chairman sana ba na ba mo je. Or by a meeting be all your campaign na yan to abano. Or cancel by a meeting.
Yes. America.
Every head of state. Now date no April 22. Or cancel one more date. But documents are can see a kutamu. And my authenticity say April 22. 2021.
Also, Nana Adodan Kwakufuano, Befu play. America.
What am I to na so?
Okay.
I feel called the Interfaith Climate Change Statement.
Interfaith Climate Change Statement to the world leaders was delivered to Morgan's.
Morgan, lick it off.
Okay, President of the UN Assembly on 18th April at a special interfaith ceremony in New York.
Yes.
The statement was signed by 270 high-level religious leaders.
Good.
Close to 5,000 individuals and 176 religious groups in the statement.
The signatories.
Signatories.
The patrol. After I'm okay. More say. Yes, say 270 religious groups. You can say story and you sorry 270. Or some outdoor a hanunabio song. And you can Christo someone ayabako. You can Krimosumo ayabako. You can Christian Buddhism,
Shintoism.
Sa ahanu na duaso enti de ahi bi na aka wo wiase a enka enti all the religious bodies of this world yen nyina akosan
even my main caution ha ebi obi wa ha na sorry o mu no obeka se me ma sorry de enka ho but a network
sa
o hye we yase busa ansa de ntina so for your program otimi to nsafra so for kukudam bi wo abrochire no ma baba bo ano
yes
unim link on wo but ocha no oje ho achinye
sanity oh what the Church of Pentecost Church of Christ who call World Council of Churches who share membership no omoka and they say World Council of Churches akọ sign document and all better say Pentecost in kan ho akinkan na nia ha want me ankan afi yemra ayi abodi me sample for the scientists and the videos me no be kasa na omo bibio kama maye
so them kind na you 10 videos I be hwe intimacy production so my ready video 1 and 2
Sounded the alarm. Well, this morning, in a brand new declaration, 11,000 scientists from 153 countries are bolstering that claim. Here are some of what's in that declaration published in the journal Bioscience. The Alliance of World Scientists says it has a moral obligation to warn humanity. It says greenhouse gas emissions are still rising and that recent efforts to reduce them are not enough. The declaration also says the climate crisis is accelerating faster than many scientists predicted, that it's caused even more damage than many had feared. The Alliance says it had to speak out. Why? Because climate change is threatening ecosystems and, get this, the fate of humanity. Scary words there.
97% of scientists, including, by the way, some who originally disputed the data, have now put that to rest. They've acknowledged the planet is warming and human activity is contributing to it.
A survey of thousands of scientific papers that took a position on climate change found that 97% endorsed the position that humans are causing global warming.
Some 97% of scientists who have written in peer-reviewed journals say the following: climate change is real, it is significantly caused by human activity.
97% of scientists the world over have said that climate change is urgent and man-made and must be addressed.
I don't know, yes, I am a more quababio. Safin was joining program, like be a ha, 19 mile and Cassan, say, and a dear and echo sweet, me part of. The echo so, and say, if we are saying Kabumuku United Nations at Tennessee, who said, if we are sending a team on near maybe or ha, air kutia nipa enko ye, in soon torn a brim, a real bonapon demon, or show quan a costro, a just she, and near be brave. And I'm so mamma and she share, I would be a on the bebo if we are sending home. Na ye however mu ye ba kope ene se yankopon aka se enipa de enie eden eboa pa etu yankopon mragu a na wie ye no ni sunsu aso no nye papa yankopon timi to osoro mu yankopon betimi ama wi abona ho di ma hyehye obema o ha bebre ato wi ase no enti senka Christopher nka bo mu ku anya kwanya bi o UN si ye kotu UN fo a enka futu ase ye de kro ne se yankopon se yenhwehwe na kira kwan na se yedi ne mransem so a obema osuo ato no brem obema duane aba na obesa ya asase ne yade na nso huo we dia Christopher ko dru UN a yes ana onko kan he de Bible na to baabi na afi de nsem bi a wo mo ka ene hyehye a pop di wo mani a de ba ne se afi de nyankopon homeda no kra ye firi ho ne de kosi ada so ma firi ni pan hyehye no de asi honom na no beboa asosa ohawiya no wona mo ya agene na ye twa adwene si so se e nkomhye na kire yen se Yesu maya no aben ti follow even
very well. And you said 2 videos in your card crow. First one Obama say 11,000 scientists. A dear kwa na esia asase so ha na abodi mo nyasapefo mako sa empim do baako. That's right. A dear kwa awo nyina ko anokro mu akase ewiem sachere na aba no ye nipa yensa no enwuma enam so akofa ni nyina de aba.
Okay.
Eno na mampani o konya sa abre no Obama beka be fo aso. En na abre so fo nyina ye pani nkura a wote konya sa abre njo mama One so
last week he bought a
Yes,
video.
a home video.
That's right.
na me can say omo de huma yi e ma Christiana Figueroa so UN na e be ka ho asem
Okay.
e duru so se me ka ho asem
Okay.
na we be kan pages 2 and 3 ya mark ho e brenti baby actual one baby a highlight no nko a e be ba screen no so ma
Okay.
say ya
I say we call
Yeah.
for a fair, ambitious, and binding global deal application to all countries.
oh
Ghana
brofo no waka no last me kan ha say nyame adom Ghana for to abayi o mampani o se o di free education aba e di ho adanse te brofo no se bia e ye otwitwi a ko school e free.
That's right.
Scientists anso a enye de wako bi dada no bisane se abrofo we ni nkire mo ni sai na gi mo nkira se ne yenko yanim fisa a lawyer for work room hakura no yenko supreme court nko gi emna mo nkire mo da.
That's right.
Enti we de ka emnugase mo ni sai so o say why almost yem peden a binding global deal e ka se binding a emra ye chiche mra no
Obia.
sa ade no te e emra no mo so ye nhye no we nyam so fo na kasa no afi drop the next paragraph a
Okay.
rules based
Okay.
Yes.
A rules-based system
yes
applicable to all,
very good
ensuring transparency,
One.
accountability,
Two.
and a strong review and scaling up of climate action at least every 5 years.
enti we de ekwe o wiase esum ko wiase ne no o man kasa e ka tra UN say ye nhye mra na mra ne enchichiro bia wa asase so sa mra no ye ba be hye no eno na Pope Francis de kwasi adasom na akɔhye mu asoma me ka tra Christopher nie enti no ba bia ye duro no enye afi no wetrem say Yesu sɔre fiada ana kwasi ada na enye no na argument no wonya akɔgye atom say ye mfa kwasi na akɔhye sa mra ne ye nkyekere eno mo kuso mo kyekere no
On say evangelist be obi anya kwanya am follow your program na say the phrase no. On say Pope de ba say si yi da ba ko e si ho no ma. E be boa ma ngusie dodo e ko wie mu.
yes
Any o how are ye ha asase
ma
no.
ha
E be ba fem.
ye be so next week anwumre ye wa ye ni ansa
Okay.
na so se honi baby odo ni ye ni scientific approach o kan so be fa science nje hono ma ye be hyeda anu na next week ma na ben
Okay.
na yes wa kɔ ne ho
Okay.
anwumre won say o dru so baby go so kan na o hwɛ page 3 o de ko the next page
Okay.
page 3 baby what we call on all governments
Okay.
and in particular
We call on all governments
exactly
and in particular the G20
yes
or
OECD.
OECD members,
yes
high income countries, and other major emitters.
yes
Okay. To commit a nationally binding, ambitious, short-term emission reduction target.
full stop o de fa se wa
Wow.
oh enti omo frefre asase so mpanimfo nyina sa G20 ne ye omo so se won krom akomako aduanu bi a omo sika chen ya aka nyina ye se sa afo nyina mfa ye ho nhyem na ye nhye mra emra no betimi ayetwuma efiri sa abra de kosi mfienum bia na mra no ye nhye mo kena to se ye hye mra no ne na se di so aba mfienum na de ye hwe ne ye nsa nka ye nsa mmie mo biem de kosi se nsa be ka de
Ye hwehwe no.
sa de brofo ni nie menwie amfa ye mra ba bia tokwa no won the battlegrounds last week me kan ho last week me dey news item me by I was screen so dear Cardinal Mislemo Ekaye the Guardian
Okay.
now o can say Pope Francis edict aye huma no Pope Francis de aba no Roman Catholic so for say e be ha nipa kuo miensa na meto mbo ase na yabobo sa miensa no maako
Okay.
na obekan document bi amaye ba bia watro however eho 2
Okay.
yeah obekan 2 obeba 3 asa about 4 be say the number no ba to asoma yesa
Also, however, France's environmental radicalism
Yes.
is likely to attract resistance from Vatican conservatives.
yes
And in highway church, right-wing church circles, particularly in the US.
me pato twa yo ho obekọ third one o se o kire mo say the Pope Francis dey ban ebe ha nipa kuo bi o se omo ye the Vatican conservative say Roman Catholic asofo ni bi ankasa no the Pope dey ban no ebe ha mo bi no and na fei o the US to aso ho where Catholic
Catholic climate skeptics
yes
also include John
Bonner
Republican leader of the House of Representatives
Yes.
and Risk
Santorum
okay. The former Republican presidential candidate.
very good
Okay, number 3. Francis will also be opposed by the powerful U.S. evangelical movement. Said Calvin Bessler, spokesman for the Conservatives Cornwall Alliance for the Stewardship of Creation, which has declared the U.S. environmental movement to be unbiblical and a false religion.
Yes, false religion. Oh, and you know, and the Pakwemi know about a Quebec Roman Catholic a soft one cassa, and Roman Catholic woman for or money programs in Yadrin. Or say the Pope de Ban, a behas are fallen. And now, or dear Kumi no back or Moye America, a Christopher, or Monsu Echisadia no Mutia de Pope
from evangelical.
Yes, evangelical on Sutia. Yempa Bidus, me and Sambra. Now Yempanchera de came.
Okay, out of from video 3 to 5. It's a production every day.
Pope Francis will release an encyclical on the environment on June 18th, and you suggested recently that the Holy Father should stay out of the debate on climate change. Here you are.
The church has gotten it wrong a few times on science, and I think that we probably are better off leaving science to the scientists and focusing on what we do, what we're really good at, which is theology and morality.
2 points. If he's not a scientist, and in fact he does have a degree in chemistry, neither are you.
I agree.
And that's one point. And the second point is that somewhere between 80 and 90% of the scientists who have studied this say that human activity contributes to climate change. So I guess the question would be, if he shouldn't talk about it, should you?
Well, we have to make public policy with regard to the environmental policy.
But you're not a scientist. You said leave science to the scientists.
Well, but the point is that politicians, whether we like it or not, people in government have to make decisions with respect to our public policy that affect American workers.
I don't think Trump is a skeptic. I think he is evil and a cynic. Even his aide said, oh, no, he believes the climate's changing. That makes it all the worse. He is a sociopath, which means inflicting harm on others does not bother this man. That's the real problem. Trump and his cronies in the Congress are corrupt. They're basically reflecting the oil and gas lobby, not the will of the American people, and certainly not the interest of the American people. This is not about jobs. It's not about the vote. It's not about the base of political support of Trump. It's about Koch Industries. It's about Chevron. It's about ExxonMobil. It's about Peabody Coal. It's about a few big interests that pay hundreds of millions of dollars over recent years to the U.S. Congress for campaigns. They own the Republican side of the Congress. There are no jobs in coal. There are almost no jobs in oil.
In my view, your conduct was permeated by staggering arrogance. You were the Archbishop of St Patrick's Cathedral, no less, and you sexually abused 2 choir boys within that cathedral. I sentence you to a total effective sentence of 6 years imprisonment.
We all know how hard it is to get things. I'm innocent of these charges. They are false. The whole idea of sexual abuse is
Adolfo, you sign Emma Makababi, a couple of videos in Tianco Evangelist on church of mine.
Afei, Papa no di kankasa no, on na Roman Catholics so for no can say America, Roman Catholics ne amanyofo mpanimfo binum ebe ha wo no, oni Rick Santorium. Can say the Pope Francis here no, na ne nyi ho, na enye ne kwaso no no. Video to so mi no, Jeffrey Sachs, anu aka say Trump any ne nkrofo no a almost say omo ne nyi de Pope ye no.
Evil.
Just say ya monsamde na almost ka any ombotom nti na omo kasa no. If you say eba no oil, any coal. To say Exxon Mobil no. Yes, omo chacha kwa omo fa so enya ska no. Popo krata no de ba no ebe bresa akwa nase. Enti no mo so retia no. Okay. John ka say Trump your bonsam no. O ka ho be ne two Trump ade so. Okay. Very good. And the third video, any Roman Catholic suffer Cardinal George Pell. Video no da no ana yedi na kodi asande bia yedi ne kotum. Now before maybe you on story in patch of document we Catholic register. Roman Catholic for document ni. Okay. Now dear a woman ye my person obe kan kakra bi amaye baby I highlight no kwa Catholic register. O de check homa ye beba Cardinal mislead case no so. Okay. Cardinal Pell, yes. Okay. Cardinal Pell takes a swing. Yes. At Pope Francis, environmental encyclical, July 20th, 2015. Good. Vatican City. The Vatican's financial chief, Cardinal George Pell, has taken the unusual step of criticizing Pope Francis' groundbreaking environmental encyclical, arguing the Catholic Church has no particular expertise in science. Nearly 18 months after Pell was brought to the Vatican by Pope Francis and given a mandate to reform the city-state's banking affairs, the Australian cardinal gave an interview to Financial Times, working his boss landmark document. It's got many interesting elements. Yes. There are parts of it which are beautiful, he said, but the church has no particular expertise in science. The church has got no mandate from the Lord to pronounce on scientific matters. Very good. We believe in autonomy of science. Pell told the Financial Thank you very much. You know what? And papa catch Roman Catholic so for penning Pope Francis. And you are saying, you say, Onyankopon, on far to me and share Roman Catholic so for some. I know Biaransam say, a bano abodemon pa, a sort of empire nuntu. And John Castle, we believe in the autonomy of science. Or Mojidi said, a bano abodemon pemu rishimua. Sa for or Munquendi omu, Nasa for no near him. Okay. Dear Cardinal Pell Kayeni. Or Gusua Wakasano, and a last year both video nearby. That's right. Or big Pierre Filimo Precope can say, Papai, a brand na war Australia in the 90s. Or Tunkola Muna, a member Munu, where sisal for you to Mona. Na fena, dio or come wire to Monano, a fena or no basse or bacanocre, na papana to Mona. And on Chipapano, according Nasem, any 2 months, years upon years. I'm catching, and I'm so sorry to open. I feel as some knows Yakofaba, ye business what you was, and Yakokana no 2 more prison. One Casabi. Ye castle on the moon fiancia. Because what soon back on the traffic back on the Bible swimming night. Ye real climate change and simple procrata in our cover be also when you have to be a tumor. I know you. Wow. Ye, you know, I say, Quam of us would dear some cannon, and ya papa. And Jaffy, you could ask me, oh no, what you know, wow. You see, you didn't bapatica. I heard you mention the Benny Beapa, but as some said, or cassette Yahuma, ye nephew. Donald Trump Casa at Yahuma, ye nephew. And Aka Okriotosu me and son. And no Nakata, you go back to Dan Misler. Okay. Baby, I can say, Dan Misler, director of the Catholic climate movement, will say there will always be 5 to 10% of people who will resist the minister of Mumbabia, attraction one. I will have number 4. Okay. Yeah, number 4. Then before the Cardinal John Pell, in fact, any. Okay. Yes. Yentia, I'll say Dan Michelin. Yes. Director of the Catholic Climate Covenant said there will always be 5 to 10% of people who will take offense. Yes. They are very vocal and have political clout. Yes. This encyclical will threaten some people and bring joy to others. Yes. The arguments are around economics and science rather than morality. Sir, and an argument science. What the MOP do is okay. Production videos 6 to 10.
Requires action, not denial. Requires leadership, not scapegoating. The impacts of climate change don't pick and choose. That's because it's not a partisan phenomenon. It's science. Like with our federal response to
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
Climate change and climate warming, the global warming, is an existential threat to humanity. We have a moral obligation to deal with it. And we're told by all the leading scientists in the world we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to clean.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Mr. President, Secretary General, Your Excellencies, Ghana presents her compliments to you, Mr. President, worthy representative of our great neighbor, the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and extends hearty congratulations on your election to preside over this 74th General Assembly. Mr. President, the General Assembly of the United Nations is usually held at the time of year when the extremes of nature are on display around the world. Maybe we are being urged to take notice and hopefully take practical and proactive steps to curb the human activities that are endangering our planet. Our world is enriched by the diversity of cultures and religions and beliefs. They add spice to our lives. But there are scientific and mathematical truths that do not change with space or time. And these truths we all do well to uphold. Now that the scientists have spoken on the realities of climate change, I believe it is time to direct our energies to what we can and should do to counteract the danger and stop unnecessary arguments.
Before a climate catastrophe.
Without U.S. leadership and participation, there will be no winners from this climate crisis. We will all become losers.
I don't know. Yes, some more kwababio. Yanko evangelist or briefly. Na videos are copying on church. Evangelist.
Videos see dear. Young boy Nasuki Aba, maybe any bachelor.
Okay.
One was a video saying in an Oman Penny Joe Biden. A brand young to Obama no campaign.
Or debate.
Yes. Or say climate change a science. Or can campaign time, or maybe to source outside at the same time. Your man Penny and Cassa, your two corners to say,
Nana do not quite.
Or can I say scientists one Nakasa, about the climate change, science Akasa, and on that argument be and Kamubi. Yan near a fata. Joe Biden say, I can't buy in fear or Chini dubi. Na yatra, yes, ya, yen to me and Yasibi. A point of no return. And if we are see Aka in fear kron to say the Aka or not as a cavias in fear kron. See a trassing, near Shamrebi, a Janyamasan and fear kron tramway, we are sentiment to the mobile. No, yet the abonnement as a pet for adventure and a better we are saying. No, and I may have one next week. I become Yebibrum, sanity. And you know, they say no, I don't know, and your quotation never went to a man called quotation called a science near you. Okay. Now, Yebibrum, Yankopon, your boy Belrum.
You, I don't know, yet I must say, MC Yanka, Yebet was on answer 7 pennies, Emre, Yeninka, so. Into Neno, yet did you medino, Ebisia. Nasa washa said the program no call yen shamra no. Eno na de bia na me bube e wo program yi so se mo nyina ko meeting. Na ate se bo twere ne se. No se mo mfa nsu nsi so. Na mu nkuma kekede entutu no a. Akokọ ejina ha abon so obo na ni ana nisuo. Enso ne nye ne din ye boye. Enhyeha ekoso eni bibi ekoso no. 7-day Adventist Church. You are the third target. Omo maka ni nyina yaka omo Womaka a 7-day Adventist Church. Friday. Na eboboba. Na ye kase. Adi e kro. Eni ebon konteneke. Nenye dieba. Na de hame evangelist. SD asofo bi mu a. Sabi onimu a onkana no ntum. Mo akogina SD fo asori da bi mu. Mo kase onya no kre Biden sign. Who told you? Unya information wa he. Unimu Kamanotum, Netoda Biwa, silence is golden. Kamanotum. Naya Yahu, Nimini, and didn't they had to read the documents and all religion, and your Christian religion, all religion, that kind of United actually, and a more munina a to a home. It is a wouldn't mean Jania, Memoir home. Am I a setback beer? Now, your Bacchus Wasre says, oh, Quasiada Summa, this is the time to run. 1 year, not a catchy. Yada to when say an anufiada, Nanki started English program. Our network we are so if fear the number 7:30 to 8:30. Bet Bibi Frisro eba bete by the home, Tiamana Marquesia, and me amaso. In some technical challenges kakrebi. Be shamo mum pie my in Uncle Pompa fear the bay life English program no ya dia ye best starting near premier ewa animal. Send a bear. Yenuanum amongst Monti Cassanon, Mumbinya Moshe, na yesiesie ho, yina yetimi esiesie ho. Nanso wonso monsom oni nipa. Kakrebi award of phone sem no send the brother support program no. Ewo ye mumu line de to dwa 055 35 74 933. Se o person ni evangelist Joseph Ananenso kasa the same line no and abefre 055 35 74 933. And I open frame a few this year Kufika career me host of the program now. My number is 0244 132368. That's 0244 132368. O franco mobile obia yebabo. Akade ye tufi mumye sisi ye ho. If we yanko pon shira so jebre na hwe dwuma di mention kind messages no. But ye that's what the same program na what hwese na e be bit me aye be fa ho. Obatam ho ni ada evangelist the researcher Joseph Hanane Ase. Mensu meeting Asiafo this year, Kufika Kari. Mr. Free, Mr. Free, and a rain so Yadamasi, you went some. Now, what you're saying, or Bravo Nunsia, a couple non son, a DMRE, a bit more council view. When you have no creno and no creno, I this year. Yadamasi.
Jesus, you're the wind beneath my